Let's talk about our education system. And this is something I strongly advocated for. It's something that I really suggest that a lot of our African governments need to re-examine, and some of the people that are outside the African government need to look at carefully at how to revolutionize education so that it is up to par with today's present needs. A lot of our children, let me start with my own son. We all have children, so you can clearly identify with me. At some point between 2 to 4, everything was, why this, Baba? Why that? Why this? And for some time, I thought it was a bother. And like most parents, did what I need to do to, suppress that and have him, hey, it's okay, and all that. But the things that we're asking, now that I look back, were very pertinent. He would ask things like, why is the sky blue, Baba? Well, if we think carefully, that is not a silly question this child is asking. There's a legitimate reason behind it. It's all about the wavelength of the blue light that is shorter than the rest, and it gets refracted by the particles in the air and the way our eyes perceive the blue light. This is why the sky is blue. So we have forgotten that this age group from 2 to 4, maybe to 5, is actually the research and development arm of the human race. And we needed to nurture that and raise children that espouse a learning system that asks questions. We call it more, I refer to more of the secretarian type of learning, where you are more inquisitive and asking the questions that speak to values, speak to purpose, speak to meaning. A lot of our education systems have suppressed that. So we see kids, once they get into the 4th, 5th, 7th grade and moving on, they're less inquisitive and more quiet. This is not the way to go. And so one of the things that I came across that I thought was extremely interesting was Toyota, who was the founder of the Toyota industry that we know today. He had the 5 whys of problem solving. And so we look back now, and here's how it worked. You find a part that is faulty. The first question is, why is this part faulty? Of course, you have to respond by saying that there's a person who down the line that made a mistake. The question is, why did he make a mistake? Then the answer is he probably wasn't trained enough, and that's why he made a mistake. You go back to another why. Why wasn't he trained enough? The budget for training was probably not appropriate. So you go back and see maybe the way we allocate our budget in our industries, it has to do with our priorities. And so it helps you resolve issues that would have otherwise been solved differently if not asking the why questions. So in this book, I'm pushing for the notion for African education systems to be free to experiment with the whys and allow children to freely and let out the innovative. African systems are good, don't get me wrong, but they don't bring out the full potential, the full intelligence of our African children, who are supposed to be competing globally with the counterparts in Singapore, the counterparts in Finland, America, just to mention a few. So we need to change the way we educate them so that they can be more inquisitive. And this inquisitive nature is what gives birth to innovation, it gives birth to creativity, and that's where growth comes from.